This is Lesson 3, Part 2, dealing with torts. We discussed crimes in the first instance, and now we're talking about torts, which is a civil wrong. While a crime is against society, a tort is against the person. We say it's against the personal property of another. The action is brought in the name of the parties. Again, to compare it to the crimes, a crime is the people versus the defendant. Here it's the plaintiff bringing the case versus defendant. More specifically, it would be the name, Acme Corporation versus Delta Corporation. There are two primary types of torts that we deal with, and the intentional tort, which requires an intent and an act. It's sometimes hard to prove the intentional tort. The most common that we deal with are negligent torts. In negligent actions, we don't have to prove that there was the intent, but there are four elements that we have to prove. We first must show in a negligent tort that there was a duty to act. In a famous treatise on tort law, the writer expressed that an Olympic swimmer watching a person struggle in water has no duty to jump in and try to save that person. When we have someone who is under that duty, a lifeguard, for example, now we can say that there was a duty to act. We have a lifeguard on duty. The lifeguard has a duty to act. The next thing we have to prove is that there was a breach of the duty. The lifeguard failed to do his or her job, and as a result of that, the third element is we showed that there were damages as a result of the breach. We call this causation. Causation means that any damages must be a result of the breach of duty. Duty to act, breach, damages because of the breach, and the causation is because of that breach of duty, not some other circumstance. When we look here at a crime, let's go back and review for just a minute. A crime would have either a jail time or a fine, and the result of that fine would go to the government. Courts do offer sometimes restitution. So if a person is damaged as a result of a crime, the court would order the defendant to restore that person by paying them money or damages. Well, that's kind of what a tort does. In torts, this is why these damages are personal damages and are paid directly to the aggrieved party. It's kind of like the restitution thing, in that let's say, for example, we have Adam and Ben, who Adam assaults Ben. Well, society says that's wrong, and they punish Ben by sending him to jail, maybe ordering restitution. Adam, they send Adam to jail. Maybe Adam knocks Ben's tooth out, and they order him to pay for the damage to the tooth. Ben, in turn, can turn around and sue. This does not violate double jeopardy. The double jeopardy clause of the Fifth Amendment specifically deals with being tried twice for the same crime. This is a crime and a tort. So Ben could then bring a civil action for the personal damages, and not just the actual damages as we see many times, but then we have these kind of additional pain and suffering, and a court can also impose punitive damages. The idea of punitive damages is similar to a criminal remedy in that you're trying to prevent that person from doing the same conduct again. Let's go back to negligence actions, because in a business, especially one open to the public, there may be an act where negligence could make a party liable because of the special relationship to the parties. There are three invitee. That's supposed to be two E's, not. An invitee, someone that we invite onto our property for our benefit. We have a retail store. We invite people to come and buy our product. We have a licensee, and those are people that are on our property, but primarily for their business. For example, a vendor. So this would be a customer. This would be a vendor. And the third one is a trespasser. Trespassers are, even though they're on the property unlawfully, they're not wanted. We still owe some duty to them for inherently dangerous activities. This is why when you go into a retail establishment and say it's been raining, they'll put out signs that say wet floor, because what they're trying to do is to protect people. They're putting people on notice. Hey, we do our best to keep the floors clean and dry, and it's raining outside, and we're warning you the floors are wet, so be careful. This is a way of trying to put them on notice that this is something that they need to be aware of while they're on the property, and to protect themselves somewhat. If they slip and fall, the argument is, well, we warn people, and we've taken reasonable measures to try to protect those people. We had a duty, and we have fulfilled that duty by putting out these notices and having crews ready to mop up spills and things of that nature.